welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. Recently, Joe and I were cuddled up in bed, and suddenly he whispered to me that he needs me to stay strong. I was really moved when he said that. I knew he said it because my divorce is so stressful, and he knows what that can do to somebody inside. He wanted me to promise him and myself that I was going to get through it. It was going to be okay. And I did promise him, and I was happy to promise him, but sometimes I feel these little cracks forming and I get afraid. I want this to be over. I need this divorce to be over. And the divorce has been for me, like it is for many of you, excruciating. In today's video, I want to talk a little bit about some of the realities you're going to face when you're divorcing a narcissist. I'm hoping by doing a video like this, it's going to relieve some of the pressure within me. When you are dealing with a narcissist, you are dealing with something that could be evil. It's believable that it's a demon. To me, anyways, the cruelty is off the charts. That's who you're dealing with. And many of us encounter the very sad reality at some point that almost nothing is as important in your life for your future health and happiness as the person you marry. Those of us who married narcissists walked straight into hell. And like Winston Churchill said, when you're in hell, keep going. Don't stay. Do not stay in hell. I stayed with my ex when I didn't want to for years, 6 years before I had the strength to get out. I didn't think I could leave. This isn't about that, but I felt like I had to say it when I'm talking about walking through hell. Keep walking. Keep walking. Don't stay where you are. At some point, all of us, we have this ugly reality we have to deal with. We married something that just is incompatible with life, incompatible with love. It's incompatible to family. So what do? Do we stay in it and hope that this thing dies? Or do we make the difficult and hard choice to get out and find our freedom on our own? If you want to wait around and hoping the narcissist will die, that's a long wait when you have the power inside yourself to free yourself. You might not feel it, and that's okay. But I want to plant this little seed in you right now that maybe you can. Now, what I want to talk about today, as I'm talking about going through the court system really, is a few things that I didn't know at the beginning of this, that now I know, and I want to help some of you that might not know this. This is just going to be a few little things I'm talking about. Joe and I, though, are planning on making, within a few weeks, a series of videos, 3 or 4, where we really discuss the divorce process from a narcissist in detail, from both a male and a female perspective, to help those of you who are going through it, because it is no joke. And the things that you learn, the things that we learn can really benefit you guys. So look for that. But for now, the first thing that I want to talk about is that divorcing a narcissist, no matter how you want it to be, no matter how you try to go into this, is going to suck. It's going to be a very negative experience. And I'm telling you this, I'm not a negative person, but I need to be real. What you're dealing with a narcissist is this: somebody that wants you to suffer. So you're divorcing somebody that isn't sad, or they're not trying to just get through this the best they can. They consider themselves at war, and you must suffer. You, me, we have to suffer. How dare we? Who do we think we are? Nobody leaves a narcissist and gets away with it. That's how they're going to look at it. So if you go into it thinking to yourself, well, you know what? That's not how I feel. I just want this to be over with. I just want to start my life over. I just want what's mine. I just want my freedom. That's how I went into it. My ex didn't. So imagine you're going to fight some huge, strong person. Are you going to want to go in there weighing 90 pounds? You need to be aware of what you're fighting, who you're fighting, what you are up against. You're up against somebody that will actually hurt themselves if you suffer. For a long time, we're in these entanglements, these marriages, whatever you want to call them, and we don't know who we're married to. We don't know what we're married to. Once we recognize what's underneath that mask, That mask is gone forever. You now know the truth. And you have to ask yourself, am I going to stay in this situation and live the rest of my life that I know will be horrible? Or am I going to do what I have to do? Look at it this way. Imagine if you had some disease, right? Some terrible disease or a tumor or something like that. And the doctor said, you know what? We can fix you. We can, cut this tumor off. We can do the surgery, whatever it is. The recovery is going to be difficult, but at the end, you'll have your life back. You'd be silly not to do it. I joke around with my daughter because she is so deathly afraid of needles. And so this is the absurdity, right? So a couple of years ago, my son, I think he stepped on a rusty piece of a fence, or he was at somebody's house and he stepped on something. Maybe it was a piece of a wheelbarrow. It was something rusty. And I decided I wanted him to get a tetanus shot. It had been a while since he had had one, so I wanted to get him one. My daughter was so horrified that her brother had to have the shot. And she's like, what's tetanus? So I was talking to her a little bit about tetanus, and she actually said to me, I think I'd rather risk it and get that than get the shot. And you hear that, and it's funny, and it's silly, come on. But that's what some of us do, right? We're so afraid of the shot that we would rather stay in hell. So just consider that, just put that away for another time. But back to the divorce, yes, it's going to be difficult. The court is going to be on the side of the narcissist because everything's equal in the court. So if somebody goes into the court and says they want this over, they love their kids, they want custody, whatever it is, the court wants to hear these things. So you're dealing with somebody that wants to hurt you, but they'll tell the court something completely different. So you need to be on the same page with your attorney. You need to have the best attorney possible. Now I'm going to do a whole video on attorneys because that's it's like when I said at the beginning that the person you marry, there's almost nothing more important. In your divorce, there's almost nothing more important than having the right attorney. You need an attorney that understands what you're up against and encourages you to go in and fight, not because anybody wants to, but because of what you're up against. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight, as they say. Like that's the type of mentality that you need to recognize. It doesn't matter if you want to fight or not. I've mentioned in several videos, if your house is on fire, you're not sitting around in your house just pretending it's not happening. You get up and get out. That's the type of attitude you have to have because you are in a war. I want to tell you something that has been very difficult for me in my divorce. Deadlines mean nothing. Nobody cares about deadlines. You might care about a deadline. Nobody cares. Joe's divorce went on for 2 years. It was supposed to be over. They were trying to come up with, I can't remember what it was called in his state. Basically, they came up with an agreement. It was supposed to be signed and done in 30 days. She reneged on that. It's a whole thing. It lasted 2 years. My divorce, I was supposed to be divorced by March or April. Then it was going to be by September 1st. Then it was supposed to be Thanksgiving. Now I think I'll be lucky if I'm divorced at all this year because deadlines don't mean anything. I had 2 mediations with my ex. He essentially, because I did not go in fighting like a bulldog like I should have, I went in kind of like a marshmallow. I really wanted to have my freedom and my son. I wasn't fighting him on everything else the way that I should have. Now guys, that's a whole other video. Because of that, I gave up a lot of things that I didn't want to just to get this over with. But even with that said, he's not signing the papers. So he just won't sign. It's inconsequential to him. They don't mean anything. He signed. No, he didn't sign. He promised he was going to sign. That he was going to put the house on the market July 1st. Nope, not done. Then it was supposed to be August 1st, August 15th, September 1st, September 15th. Now the latest one was October 15th, which has already passed. Again, it's not for sale. He's not signing any papers. He's gotten everything he wants. Once my divorce is over, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, every single step along the way, the numbers, everything. But for right now, he basically got everything he wanted, but he won't sign the papers. And every time my attorney pushes, they'll wait till this expires. And then we have to push it forward again. Then it expires, we have to push it forward again. He's just literally doing nothing. He'll say he's going to do things in front of the mediator, but then he doesn't. His attorney is not pushing him. It doesn't matter. He'll pay child support, not pay child support. He keeps getting upset over this orthodontic bill. You guys, I'm going to go crazy with this orthodontist bill. At the first mediation in June, My ex agreed to pay my son's orthodontic bill. Offhand, I said it was $3,700. I believed it was $3,700 when I said it. I found out later that day when I was going through the forms that it was actually $3,200. Immediately, that exact day, I contacted my attorney and told her I made a mistake. That same day, she sent this information off to my ex's attorney. So they've known this since the day in June. I think it was June 6th. They've known that since that day. Just last week, they refused to sign the papers again because they're very upset about this $3,700. They want to make sure that in there it's noted that I'm never referred to by my name. I'm always she or her. So they want it in the papers that she is not going to try to collect on $500 that he does not owe. It was something stupid like that. Like I'm somehow going to try to get this $500. The orthodontic bill was already changed in the paperwork, but now they want this additional amendment. This is the type of thing you're going to deal with. And this is part of the reason why I know Joe said that to me the other night, because this really, really bothers me. I want this divorce done, over. I don't want to deal with him anymore. I just want my freedom. All he's doing is delay, delay, delay. And it affects my life. It affects my life with Joe. There's things that we want to do that we can't, things I want to do and I can't because I'm still married to this thing. So recognize it's not going to be a quick process. The narcissist, when it comes to my ex, he has all day, every day to just do nothing. He doesn't care. He doesn't have a life he's trying to live. He's just trying to ruin my life. And the longer he makes me wait, the more upset I'm going to be, the worse he can make me feel. And he knows that. Now, of course, this is where no contact comes in because he doesn't hear any of this from me. You hear it. Joe hears it, but he doesn't hear it. I just don't say anything. But I'm sure he knows that the more he pushes me to wait, the worse it's going to be, because it affects many things in my life. And like I said, I will get into more of that at a later date. But also the last thing I want to talk about before I forget is your kids. Your kids will be collateral damage in the court. This has happened to my kids. It happens to, I think, everybody's kids. When Joe was going through his divorce, a child mediator actually said to him that a bad parent is better than no parent. If you are dealing with a narcissist, you are dealing with a bad parent. And if you're dealing with a case like me, where my ex abused my family, my kids have had zero relationship from him for 2.5 years. They don't want to see him. They want to go no contact. This is their choice. For my daughter, it doesn't matter for the courts because she's 19. My son is 16. He's right in the middle of this. My ex says he wants to have a relationship. That's all the court needs to hear. It doesn't matter what your child feels. That it's inconsequential. This other parent said that they want to have a relationship with their child, and they should be able to do that. That it doesn't matter what you say or what you think or what you know or what happened. It doesn't matter that your kid has PTSD. What are you, some type of person are you a parental alienator? Is that what you are? You're not letting your child see their parent who obviously loves them. Are you turning your child against their other parent? This is what you're going to hear. And it can get to the point where you lose your child over this. So you need to be aware of that going in. Understand exactly ahead of time what is going to happen with the child custody. Try to get an agreement with the spouse, with the ex, the one you're divorcing. It's so much better if you can do it on your own, because the court's going to want to do 50-50. Now, in my case, my ex gave me my son, thank God. But so I don't have to deal with that with him. But if he was really fighting that, that would have made not only my life, but my son's life miserable trying to deal with that to please the court, who has an agenda ahead of time. Just 50-50, kids, everything. The court will pretend that they care so much about kids, but they do not. If you have children and you're getting a divorce, one of the first things you're going to have to do before you can even get this divorce rolling is you have to take a parenting class. And in this parenting class, it's just such absurd. It's a reality that no one has, where you're basically getting divorced, but you still are good friends, and you're going to raise your kids together, and your kids will never hear a bad word in between, and it's just going to be great. You're going to probably go on vacation together and have holidays together. You're going to get remarried, and your spouses are going to be best friends, like whatever the court seems to think. This is the way that they look at things, though. So whatever the narcissist says, they're going to just go along with that. And if you get in the way, you're going to be the one that loses. So ahead of time, try and work as much out with your spouse as possible, your ex-spouse, but don't tell them what you really want. You can't act like anything is that important. Joe always says, you just got to put on your poker face. Like, that's how it has to be. This is, don't look at them, don't breathe the same air as them, but understand, like, when you're dealing with this, what's most important to you, and fight for that. Do not make the mistake thinking that the court is going to be on your side. They're not. They're on the side of what's best for the court, and what's best for the court is 50-50. That's the way that they've decided. That's why there's no fault divorce now. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what the narcissist did. You need to go in there on the attack, understand what you're up against, and then just keep focusing on the future. And I'm gonna be with you guys along the way, because I'm still dealing with this. And there are times, like when I said to Joe last night, we were in the car, and he's like, "How you doing? You okay?" And I was like, "Joe, I told you that I was really going to try to be strong, and I'm committed to doing that. But I have a feeling there's going to come a time where, like, I'm not going to be strong. I'm going to need you. It isn't tonight, so I don't want to talk about it, but I can feel these things coming, you guys. There's several things. I might talk about them in later videos that really, really upset me, because my ex, still technically being married to him, is affecting things that I want to do in my life today, and it's really bothering me. So look for that in a video coming up. I'm going to end this now. I wanted to say, for anybody who was asking about Joe, he's so much better. He's doing so much better. Actually, right now, while I'm making this video, he's at the gym, so he's up and out. But he should be with me for Monday's Sharon and Joe show. We're planning on that right now, unless something comes up. So we'll see you on Monday. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about, and I want to talk to you about Joe being a fashion designer. So I know that sounds silly, but you'll see what I mean when I talk to you with Joe this weekend. So have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. God bless.